Shalom, shalom, family. It's the Hebrew Life again. Shock Bay Sharu, back with another one. Q and P, questions and problems. I'm gonna let everybody tune in and we gonna get started.
Let's go.
Yes, sir. Let's get this going.
Let's go. Mark, ready, set, go. Mark, ready, set, go. Mark, ready, set, go. Cold like Chicago snow. Holla can't keep police. Making room in the building for my people like it's lease. When we play for keeps. Killing beats my specialty. Tony Hawk, kick, flip me, twist me, grind a specialty. If my flow is drugs, I'm like schedule 1, you schedule 3. Serve the most high so I could become a better me. Know the game ain't free, gotta pay attention. She is hot up in the kitchen, see, had them playing.
Yeah, let's get it. I'm gonna put the link in the comment. So if anybody want to tune in, we could do that. All praise the Most High. Y'all for the day. Y'all wait. Know how it's going. So, name of the video is Questions and Problems. As you know, we come on and we take on the questions and the problems. You got to be on your Q's and your P's out here. So we just tune in and we dialect and talk about the questions and the problems that the brothers and sisters are having today in the world, today in Israel, and maybe even in their families and their own households and their own relationships. We here to answer all questions, answer all problems if possible. We had to be peaceable with all people if possible. But, if possible. So if you acting up, you know what I'm saying, not behaving well, man, I will kick you out the chat, man, and out the party, man, because we only here for a righteous, positive conversation. I understand some things in the conversation can get negative because we're talking about the questions and the problems, but you got to be able to control your spirit. So let's talk. Let's talk. Excuse me. So we got a lot of problems, you got a lot of questions, you got a lot of questions, you got a lot of problems that's going on in the world today. I think one of the big questions and problems that's going on in the world today is people are saying that the Most High is not playing around when it comes to this world. We see earthquakes in diverse places, which people are starting to see the scriptures come to life right in their faces. We seeing the whole world go against what the Bible says, and we seeing the world getting further and further in destruction. We seeing the Gentile nations at each other's throats, putting sanctions on each other, battling over border lines that somebody done drew on the map, because it's all about respect. Respect and honor has been lost in the world, so it brings upon war. War is nothing more than another form of communication. If we got, that's why when the nations meet, they have a meeting first. They have a meeting always before the war kick off. They always have a disagreement before the war kick off. If you look this up, there always has to be a talk, and once the talking is over with, then here come the war, because they feel like enough words have been used, and there's nothing more that could be said. That's when physical combat starts. You seeing earthquakes in diverse places, like I was saying. We got Syria, we got earthquakes in Turkey. The numbers are catastrophic. You're talking in the 40,000. I said last number I seen was 44,000 people dead. It started off with 3,000, then it rised up to 10. Now we had about 44 50,000 people dead in one earthquake. I don't even think that ever happened in the history of man. I really don't even remember an earthquake that high on the Richter scale. I believe the Richter scale is 8.0, and these earthquakes was like at 7.6, 7.4. Some serious earthquakes on the magnitude level. They're very very high. So, and I find it's crazy that this come right after they had dragged Tyree Nichols' limp body into a car. I'm starting to see a pattern. Seems like every time they hurt one of ours or they do something wrong to black people, it seems like a natural disaster comes. Whether it's via hurricane, tsunami, earthquake, you know, because of the wrong treatment over here, it seems like even the earth isn't happy with the actions of this wicked world. The clock is ticking. We're getting closer and closer to the coming of the Messiah. Tribulation is coming. Hard times is coming. So you must answer your problems and your questions before you ever get to that point. You don't want to be trying to deal with your problems and the questions you have in life when it's time to make it, when it's time to survive, when it's time to go out and do what you need to do to make sure you make it through the day. You can't have 101 things on your mind. The scripture say a man in war mind can't be entangled in the world. Our minds can't be entangled in the world when it's go time. It's too many things going on for us to be arguing with each other. We need to start building up ourselves as Hebrews, you know what I'm saying? We need to start building up our communities. We need to start following the laws of the Most High and stop following the traditions of man. And that's just how I feel. Check out the comments, see if anybody saying anything. Okay, we gonna move forward. Another, I feel like, that them earthquakes just felt all the way from Turkey all the way to America. People know, oh man, something serious is about to happen. You see, America having a quarrel with China, which this quarrel is not about a balloon. It's not filled up with hot air like a balloon. It's a serious issues that America has with China. I've been told, that weather balloons float over each and every one of the countries, and none of the countries really have a problem with it. But since America is having problems with China, it's tension about some things. But see, the public, they don't educate themselves. Most people don't, and this is why you find a lot of controversy about nothing. And then the true problem, people will never know. They'll never know America is over there in Taiwan, making Taiwan a democratic state. Taiwan wants to be a democratic state. And this is creating problems with China because I believe they have a pact or something. And China feels like Taiwan has always been a part of them. And there's going to be a whole nother issue in the South Pacific that people don't understand. This is a big problem for America, but the people are worried about a balloon. It's like if you nearly knew what that balloon was filled with, it ain't hot air. It's a lot of some serious things because China not gonna let up off of Taiwan. That's just like America letting up off of I say Alaska, letting up off of one of their islands like the Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico or whatever islands they have in the Caribbean. It would be no different than that, than America letting another country come over and take an island in the Caribbean that was inside of American states. And they were having problems, maybe economic problems, and they were one seeing eye to eye. So the countries, different countries start fighting for their independence. They not directly connected to the state of, that's providing and that's over them. This happens all the time. This is nothing more than geopolitics and war, and how war goes, and who pays tribute after, and who pays for things that's broken, and who gets the bare minimum, who get to bring in the max when it comes to products and fruits and whatever that environment grows, whether it's bananas, apples, cherries, wood, water. That country has to be a benefit to that country to remain in the so-called what they want to call independent. If the country's not bringing in the max proceeds, then they'll just completely ravage the town or ravage the place, or they'll come in and completely take over, send their overseers in. This is war. This is how the world was built. This is Rome and Greece, Egypt. All these great civilizations, even Israel, went out and had tributes. We didn't do it like the heathen do it, but we did it because it's a part of being a community, a town, a city, a country, a state. I believe America is in debt with China by trillions of dollars. And this is just one problem. You know, America is fighting many battles on many different fronts of the world, and they stretching themselves out thin. She's stretching us. She's spreading her legs too far. It's like you over here in China in the South Pacific battling. You ain't publicized that, but you publicized the war that you have with Ukraine, which the president could have. This is all speculation. Could have ties to Biochem Labs over there, and he's defending his investment and Europe's investment at the same time, because they know if Russia takes Ukraine, Poland is next, and now here comes these countries. Any country that's in the EU has to be protected. So now they have to come and defend, because that's why you see Zelensky begging to be in the EU, because being a part of the EU guarantees that America has to and Europe has to back you in case of a war, in case of any type of discomfort. They supposed to come to aid because you're part of the European nations. I just feel like, wow, that's all. Just fighting against China and Russia alone is a big battle. Then let's go a little bit lower on the map. Boom, you hit Iran. You have a whole problem with Iran. Iran is a big threat to Israel, which America has to protect them. If this was Rome, they are spreading themselves out too thin. This is Rome. You can't have soldiers everywhere fighting on every battle. You're gonna lose somewhere. And then, most importantly, you're gonna lose home, because you're sending all these soldiers out to fight all these different battles. That's why they had to start using technology and using aerial things in the air, because you can't put them many boots on the ground in them many places. That's why they start practicing putting coups in places and stuff like that. Moles, people who are really democratic and for America, they'll put them in leadership to run and dictate the country. So they don't really have to be there and have no soldiers. Every decision that's gonna be made in the favor of the country that's benefiting from them. And that's America and Europe, or has been, whatever country that may be that took over that country. Like I said, it all go back to the strategies of war and how people always pay tributes to the country if they lost. borders. Then you have, like I said, you got Iran, Iraq still with the Taliban, Afghanistan. Those are dangerous states because they not being supervised, and they pulled their troops out, and now the Taliban has risen back up and taken over the states. Afghanistan and Pakistan, all these different states are being ruled again, and the same thing is happening. And it's even more dangerous because now we in the internet age where money don't have to necessarily be physical. You know, the U.S. dollar is dying. Gold is money. Oil is money, and these people have these things, and countries will buy these things under the table. I don't care what people think out here. I know how the world works, and all this. The Most High is giving me the knowledge to know where wicked could be done, it will be done. If you think your country, any state you live in, is being completely kept at peace. Sorry about the skipping on what's going on, but I put the chat in the I put the StreamYard chat right there. If y'all want to come in, man, let me check the room, see if anybody waiting in the room. It's all good. Look, on top of it, Iran having an issue with them, and them having an issue with Israel. Now Saudi Arabia not answering the phone. So Biden asking them for more oil, they saying no. So, and then they done suck the American people dry with the COVID thing that it is not even, you know what I'm saying? They gonna have to create something deadly just for it to be effective again, because people not buying it no more because they see they done spent a whole bunch of money on masks and hand sanitizers, and this stuff is airborne. Now, you can do what you want to do. You know, I'm not saying COVID is not real. COVID is a real virus that was floating in the air. Where it comes from, y'all could do y'all research on that. You know, whether you want to get vaccinated or not, do your research on that. You know what I'm saying? Is it safe or is it not safe? You know what I'm saying? Watch where you get your information from. Me personally, I'm not getting vaccinated. I'm not vaccinated. I won't be getting vaccinated anytime soon or anytime in his lifetime, unless they choose to do some inhumane things. Then you know what I'm saying. Then other than that, I'm not dealing with it. You know what I'm saying. It's not in my. I feel like if it's airborne, I had it. Natural immunization is the best way to fight any virus. I'm not saying that science hasn't paid a good way to help children, help people who have sicknesses, but at the same time, I'm a believer in God. I'm a believer in Yah, and I believe that with His knowledge and His power, He shall heal. If He want me to see a physician, then I shall see a physician. But if it's not, and if that's not the case, then I'm not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? You could do your research on and these are facts. You could bring up the CDC or whatever you want to bring up on the ads. You know what I'm saying? These are facts. I'm dropping them. This is copyrighted, freedom of speech, and you could do your research on it. I don't speak lies because I'm a child of God. I'm a child of Yah. So if you look up the history and you look up the numbers of what's going on, or the defects that people are having from the COVID shots around the world, is the main complaint is heart problems. People are having, forgot what it's called, start with an M, it's a cardiovascular um, disease or virus, I don't know, that gets on the people. You're talking about children young as 8 to 13 having heart issues after receiving the COVID shot, enlarged hearts. So do your research. People have been unsuddenly dying. You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here or there. You could do your research. This is just what I'm saying. It's not fake news. This is real news. Now, why people are just dropping dead, I don't know why. But the JEB might have a lot to do with it. You can't think that you could play God and there ain't gonna be no defects and no problems to it. We seen this all. We seen this over and over again with different people trying to play God. It never ends well. This medical industry is trying to play God. The government is playing God, and this is what people need to understand about my God power. Yeah, he don't need no guns, no tanks. He don't need no airplanes for him to bring down his wrath. Just natural disasters alone are cripple is gonna cripple these countries. Go look online at people having dreams and visions of things to come. There's a lot of destruction people have dreamed about coming to this country. Tsunamis hitting the East Coast, boots touching over here on the West Coast from other countries. I've even had dreams of soldiers over here. I know people think that it can't happen because it hasn't happened, but this is a part of the questions and the problems every day that people who live in America have. One of their biggest thoughts is, man, can we be defeated as a country? The big bad America, can it be knocked down on their feet, on their ass? You know, that's the question that people have in their mind when it comes to living here. You know, and all of the different wars that they're involved in. I seen recently in Venezuela. See if I can share my camera, share my screen. Oh, my fault. Shalom, shalom. Yeah. No, it ain't feeling like being on camera today. You know, I'm trying to figure out how to share the screen so I could try to figure out how to share the screen, man. Picture. Okay, I'm gonna line it. Let me see, so I'm feeling y'all bear with me. I'm trying to do some. But yeah, Venezuela. In Venezuela, the dollar has went to nothing. Shalom, shalom, serving me up. The dollar in Venezuela, I think you need like 170 million paper dollars to make $100. So, you know, that alone, you know what I'm saying, lets you know that the dollar is gonna die. It died there. Why can't you think this can't happen in America? You really think this can't happen in America? said, you want to come in the chat, bro? Let me put the link in the bio again. But yeah, the dollar crashed in Venezuela, man. I seen a video of a dude. I'm gonna learn how to. My baby screen, dollar screen. The dollar dude pulled up in a pickup truck full of dollars. And was throwing them around. They said kids is playing with the money like toys because it ain't worth nothing. So the dollar is crashing everywhere because everything is too high. If you need 170 million paper dollars, they make $100 in U.S. dollars. That means your dollar is nothing. Why is Venezuela? Why you need 170 million, 107, 100? I know it's in 100 millions of paper dollars you needed to make 100. So I mean, if I had 1,000 paper dollars, I wouldn't even. It wouldn't mean nothing. If I had a big stack of Venezuela dollars, it wouldn't mean nothing in U.S. currency. It would be less than pennies probably. Be less than pennies in U.S. currency because Venezuela is one of the countries I believe that is in agreement. I believe they're with BRICS. You know what I'm saying? They might be with this new world money currency thing that is called BRICS, and that means BRICS. What does the B mean? The B is Brazil, I believe, and then Russia, Iran, China, and the S is um, I don't know who the S is. I forgot. I want it come to me, but these countries have united. It might be Saudi Arabia, but these countries have came together, put their money together, and they trying to create a new currency to go against the euros. Maybe not the ruble or the yen, but it's gonna contest. It's gonna be another currency. Oh, it is Saudi Arabia. Okay, I said Saudi Arabia. So yeah, I figured that because they having trouble with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia not gonna be loyal to them because they are a Muslim country. They're not going. They over there, and now that Russia and China is gaining power, they don't need America. We talking about trillionaires. We talking about real trillionaires, and they know, like, man, we don't need these dudes. They knowing it, like, okay, we don't need these dudes. We got billions, millions of gallons of oil and barrels of oil to pass out to who we please, and the deals is running out. That's why you see China moving in to Africa. You know what I'm saying? They coming in where them deals. When the Queen died, a lot of them deals was dying with her that they had set up 50-year deals, 30-year deals, 100-year deals. I doubt they set up 100. I hope they ain't that silly. Set up 100-year deal with the Queen, but them deals, them factories started closing. People started rioting. Communities wasn't being given what they were promised. You know what I'm saying? So it came down to another country coming in saying, I understand what you've been through. And that's China. They coming through buying up all of the land. China owns the biggest meat company in America, Smithfield. It's owned by China. The toll roads you see, you got to pay your toll. That's because they sold the roads to China. It's a lot of Chinese in Golden State. Maybe that's why they winning this championship and getting all these number one draft picks. Maybe Golden State got some paper. Chinese been there since the 1930s, I believe. So you know, America owes them money. China is called the world's factory. They create everything. You sitting on the bed, the mug probably made in China. That's by one of their cousins. So you know what I'm saying? It's definitely a serious thing. Hold up, fam. Yeah, man. So they might. Then India never really liked Britain either. So you got a whole bunch of people who could possibly be enemies of this country. They got Joe Biden in the office. Joe Biden is the oldest president ever. I think JFK was the youngest president ever. You got this man. You know what I'm saying? He's 80. I mean, how could he possibly make the sharpest decisions for all the problems America got? You tell me he gonna deal with them? Shit, I don't believe it. They made Obama hair turn white. You know what I'm saying? Like Obama went in the White House with black hair, and he left with his hair was all white. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of Obama, you go look up visions and dreams these people are having that the Lord is pouring on people. You see a lot of people saying he is the Antichrist, and that's still to be proven and seen. But some type of destruction is gonna bring him back into power, is what people were saying. Also, I'm just reporting, Sam. I'm just a reporter of the spiritual, righteous world. You know what I'm saying? Of what people are saying the Lord is showing them. Well, I'm just reporting what the world is saying is happening. The destruction and everything is being televised. It's a lot of problems in marriages. You know, if we own these devices, we need to use these devices, for righteousness. They did a, um, a research on divorces. Do y'all know that almost 70% of these divorces had like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter involved in them? These apps is dangerous. A lot of people is ruining their marriages dealing with the desire to be wanted and wanted by the wrong people. The desire to be desired is very strong. So we gotta love who we with, man. We gotta learn how to love better who we with. You know what I'm saying? The Lord didn't intend for us to get together to be broken apart by the lusts of the world. You know what I'm saying? We got to be strong for each other. I feel like the love that we have for each other, if you in a marriage, it's gonna override, you know, any issue or any temptation that may come. Of course, people be at odds with each other. Stuff happen in a relationship, but love ain't the same as it was when we first met. But I mean, you see it with kids. They get a toy, they play with it. Then when they done playing with it, they throw it in the corner. It's just us as humans. We get bored sometimes. We can't look at each other as just objects, like a toy. She's my cook, or she's just my sex object. He just pay the bills, and he just give me money. We can't be doing these things. He's just some sets. And this is what's you know. America is the blame. They put out these images in the community, mainly in the black community, images of disorder, images of the woman leading the household and being the man, I guess, being behind her, scared. like the Willie Lynch letter. We can't keep doing this because it's destroying the community. This is why we have so many effeminate men in the black community. This is why there's so many masculine women in the community because the balance has been threw off. The balance that the Most High gave us, man and woman, children, Christ, God, the whole order and umbrella has been broken. You know what I'm saying? And it's our faults. It's their faults too because they seen what the Lord was doing with us, and they joined in to profit off of our destruction. But it's time for us to turn back the clock. The clock hands. The righteous people will start rising because everybody ain't into being nobody fool. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't into arguing and fighting in their families. Some people are into building their families. They into having an order in their household, having having love and care for their wife and their children and their family around them. The greatest commandment is that we love one another. So if you forget that, you forget the greatest commandment. You can't beat nobody with the truth. If somebody's not listening, don't want to hear, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Let it be what it's gonna be. Give it some time. Focus on your walk with the Most High. We can't drag people along with our path and what we doing. If the Lord command you to do something, do it. You can't expect that commandment for everybody. You know, our mission is to do what the Lord has set us to do in our lives, what He's put in our minds and our hearts to achieve the things we battle with, the things that vex us on the daily. This is what we've been commanded to do, pick up our cross daily. And you never know what might be on your cross that day. You never know what might be the things you have to carry that's hard for you. Somebody might say something about the Israelites that day. Or your wife might get mad at you about something. You might get mad at your child about something. You might lose something. You might gain something, but it came at a loss. You never know what we do at the same time. The Lord said He had nothing but good thoughts about us and for us and our future. Believe that's in Isaiah, but if you're going through tough times, prepare your mind. Understand why you're going through tough times. Understand that the Lord is preparing you to go through something. It's giving you strength. We must learn how to manage these days. We live in a consumer society, a gluttonous, overspending, overneeding environment in America. We live in an environment where people would rather pay somebody before they do it. So we live in a lazy, gluttonous society, and we don't want to become lazy and gluttonous because the government, they got the whole program set up for people who don't want to do things themselves, DIY, do it yourself. So if you ain't willing to do it yourself, you could fall victim to them doing it for you. That's all I'm telling you. We need to take our resources and we need to build ourselves up so we can self-sustain ourselves because If they gotta sustain us, they gonna get something out the deal. It's gonna be interest on it. It's gonna be interest on it. They gotta they gotta help you. Trust me. Yeah. So yeah, as I go down the list of things that's going on, I see a few school shooters. I seen a school shooter. What was it in Michigan State? Another school shooting. This guy was black. This guy was a colored person. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to call him. A dark skinned brother shooting up campus at Michigan State. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. It could be not. You dealing with the media. At that point, you need to do your research because there's gonna be many people saying many things. It might be two stories. It might be one story. You never know. That's why we can't be too tangled up in these things. We know that this stuff is constantly happening. People scoring on campuses, whether it's an elementary school, a grocery store, a college campus. This is what goes on in America because this is the beast. This beast eats people alive and it makes people do these ridiculous things. There's demons floating around. We fight not against flesh and blood. There's so many unclean spirits floating around this country, leaping upon people, having them do satanic things like shooting up a campus. And you got operations. I heard that it was a man inside that grocery store in Buffalo that had a patent for an engine that ran off water. This ain't the first time I heard this. When I was in school, an old teacher, an old white man, I'm not gonna even say his name because he dropped the secret. He told me in high school that his dad worked at a gas factory and they rode around because they didn't want to blow up anything. They rode around on cars off of steam in the water. Are they? Can they really drive operate these machines off of water and they choose to and they need a little bit of oil to keep it going? That's all you really need, or is they really needing the gas and the gasoline because they created an industry that the car goes off of that and they got the plug on the gas and the oil and the gasoline. So they make a lot of money off a natural resource, something that's coming out the earth. But what happens when you suck all the oil out the earth? It's no oil for the tectonic plates. What that makes? Earthquakes. Now you got earthquakes happening. Why? Because they suck the earth dry of the oil that the earth needs to operate. How the tectonic plates under the earth gonna move correctly without scrubbing against each other if there's no oil? There's no dirt. There's none of these minerals that the earth needs to operate properly. They're robbing her, and she is not happy. You'll see this earth do a lot of different things because the Lord isn't happy, and the earth He created, which is a living entity, also is not happy. A tree is a living entity. A bush, an animal. When you don't treat it well, you get negative effects. It's like the gremlin. You feed it after dark, it turns into something else. The earth came with instructions. It came with seasons. Seasons you reap and seasons you let the earth rest. Fall and winter, the earth rests. Spring, summer, the earth is active. You can use her soil. But everything is modified. Everybody is, the market is oversaturated. Everybody wants to eat steak. Everybody wants to eat chicken every day. Everybody wants to drink, and eat strawberries every day, even if they live in Alaska or live in a cold climate. This is what you get. Some of these things were just benefits of being in that country. You wouldn't taste a pomegranate unless you came in Israel. That's the beautiful way the Lord has set up the earth. You won't taste certain fruits unless you live in certain areas. Now it's okay. Trading always been here. I'm not saying people can't trade If you got some over here, we'll ship it over there. That's no problem. But to suck the earth dry, and if there's no more fruits, you sold all your bananas. You can't genetically modify bananas so you can keep selling them because of the greed of the want of the desire of more has caused you to continue to dig where there's no more place to dig. At some point, you're digging on concrete when you not people not getting the real stuff. I just seen recently a man sued Ginger Ale, Canadian Dry, Canada Dry. Got $200,000 because he been giving his family Canadian Dry. I mean, uh, Canada Dry, thinking that it has real ginger ale because they had it made with real ginger on them, and they had to take that off of of the actual label because it didn't have real ginger in it. It was a solution ginger something. It wasn't real ginger. It wasn't made with real ginger. It was made with the product of that ginger that came from ginger. Maybe a ginger sweetener or something like that, but it wasn't real ginger. Like the bark, the root. It wasn't. And man, so his family had health problems. He was wondering why, and he realized that damn, this Canada Dry ain't really made with real. Let me look this up, man. Oh man, this ain't even got. This is horrible for you. He said it was made with real ginger. I thought I was feeding my family this. Thinking that I was drinking. My people was drinking it too. I might sue them. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause, he already got the money. He Israel. I'll be out of a lot of money trying to get somebody to pick up that case. I don't even have the receipts. I don't even have the receipts for all the Canada Dry I bought. But everything is popping out. Simply's lemonade, orange juice, they not real. Somebody suing them. I'm like, what is going on? I thought this was organic stuff. It says all natural on the damn tag. You know what I'm saying? You tell me this ain't real orange juice? It says it's organic. Like, how you gonna have all natural organic on the label and it's not? Scripture says they says beef and chicken at the market. Believe it. You gotta believe it. But now we getting to the point now with it ain't even beef and chicken. We don't even know because the orange juice ain't orange juice. Ginger ale ain't ginger ale. They coming for the kids, trying to get the kids more rights in the household than the actual parent. A lot of wickedness going on, fam. You at a dead end job or something, you feeling like it ain't gonna work. Start you a business, man. Get you a LLC or something. Get you a CPN. There's many things you could do out here to put your money into that's gonna make your money work for you. Take your money to the market, like the scripture say. These people trying to make you their slaves, you don't have to be. We know who we are now. We know we the chosen people. We willing to work, but I ain't willing to be no slave. And be willing to deal with what come with it. This is a lot of people problems in America, going from job to job, feeling like they're not gonna be treated fairly on any job because of just who they are. It don't matter how hard they work. It don't matter how white they talk and professional they try to talk or whatever you want to call it. They're gonna still be treated less than. They're not gonna be treated based off of their work ethic. They're gonna be treated based off of their skin color, based off of their name, based off of who they have to have favor to versus and before they have to have favor to you. What's the problem? Check the chat, see. Check the room, see if anybody want to come in. Nope. We'll come back on, man. It's going to get bigger and bigger. Because there's a lot of questions and problems out there. You're having trouble with your family, man, go back. Sit with your family. Ask for, you did something, ask for forgiveness. If somebody did something to you, ask them to forgive. You know what I'm saying? Bring it 2 or 3 people with you as witnesses. If you feel like they pride is so high. You got problems with your parents. Let it go, man. You want to live a long life? We got to have this love and forgiveness in our heart. We don't have to deal with people on a day-to-day and all of that, but you can tell them, look, I forgive you. You know, but can you forgive me? So we can move forward as a community. Too much hate in the community. It's too much backsliding in the community. One minute they Israel, the next minute they not. One minute they Kwame Yashrala, the next minute they like, fuck that. Forget that. Forget that ish. Excuse my language. But you know what I mean. Backsliding. Roots that's not all the way in the ground that get plucked up by the devil. We gotta move forward as a people because they trying to boost our ignorance to an all-time high. You see, they got, it's a trend now. I don't see any, I never seen like, Shakira, Christina Aguilera, Miley Cyrus, any other, the Gentile white entertainers perform pregnant. I never seen Adele perform pregnant, but they got Rihanna and Cardi B and all of these different, and Beyonce. They got all these women performing pregnant. Satanic. Y'all don't know if y'all seen the Grammys. It's very wicked. Whole satanic presentation went on, and then the rappers did their little satanic Last Supper presentation. They showing you who they are, but they trying to make it cool. It ain't nothing cool about being wicked. It's a very dark, lonely life. Yeah, you might be enjoying yourself, so you think you might be enjoying the pleasures of fulfilling all the wants of your flesh, but your spirit is dead in that realm. You don't live long in that realm. People People get involved in these circles where these people living wickedly, living against the Most High's laws in this Hollywood setting. Next thing you know, they did. Look what happened to Whitney Houston and Prince and Michael Jackson at the end of their lives after they had been used up by the industry. Then when they had a dispute about their money and leaving with their money and with their name and stuff of that sort, they found out they was dealing with purely with the devil. He imitates the Most High. You want to be blood in, blood out too. That's why your whole character got to be tore down. You talking about leaving. You talking about leaving them. You talking about leaving Hollywood. We got to make you look crazy. Look what they doing to Kanye. They say you got a freedom of speech, but when it's freedom of speech ain't free no more. You say something, you say the wrong thing, it cost you It cost you your Balenciaga deal. Cost you your Adidas deal. It can cost you all these different things. Nike deals. It's weird. What's funny to me is you could say you can't say certain thing about the Jews, but you could talk bad about. We could talk bad about each other. Black people could talk bad about their own selves. White people, the whole nation can say whatever they want to say about us, and there's no consequences. There's no anti-black laws. Knowing that black people have been through what they've been through in this country, if you discriminate against a black person, you should get double time. They want us to remember the Holocaust and forget slavery. When it comes to slavery, they want to say, "Oh, that was a long time ago." You know, these Fortune 500 companies was built off of slavery. Come on, now. What would this country be without black inventions? The stoplight, the stove, the air conditioner, even the kids. We made the super soaker for the kids. Come on, now. The first open heart surgery. They don't preach this in school. It's Black History Month, right? They don't teach you, a black man, black woman created these cell phones and these TVs we see. Y'all can go look this up. The car, all of them, the alarm clock, this, mostly everything you see was created by your own people, but people don't know this because they don't educate and they don't motivate the people. That's why they made your idols. Not they it went from Malcolm X and Martin Luther King to Lil Wayne and the Baby and Cardi B. This is how powerful music is. That you won't even know that you using a cell phone created by a black woman, using a computer created by a black man, and them ain't your idols. Your idols is people who do drugs and get on the mic and talk about all the men and women who did and all the cars they done bought and all the houses they done had. Your idols ain't David, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, Leah, Zilpha, Bilhah, Hannah, Elizabeth, all these great women in the Bible, Mary, Esther. No, they done turned the women idols into love and hip hop. Cardi B. Well, I like that girl too. She nice, and then ain't got the men. They ain't looking at Samson and David and all of the great men of the Bible. Abraham, Solomon, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Even Yahusha. These men who stood up for their people. Stood up. Nehemiah said, "You come around here again, I'm gonna lay hands on you." Said, "You come around here trying to poison my people again, I'm gonna lay hands on you." Because it was serious. Because people always come around to capitalize. Everybody got a motive, and everybody has had their motives against our people, whether that's promoting serial killing through the music, promote sex in the music, especially with the women over sexualizing the women, making them a sexual object completely, making them of no use of any intellect, which is a lot. Our women are very smart. They're very generous, and first they help the poor, and they have taken something sweet and delicate and made it very harsh and naked. You know what I'm saying? So the men are weak now. They soft. They not warriors. You know what I'm saying? They not ready to get on the battlefield. They care and feel too damn much. You know what I'm saying? And they don't care nothing about the Most High. They overly care about what everybody else says. But change is coming. Y'all keep watching. Y'all keep looking at the clock. Like the scripture said, man counts slackness. Oh, he ain't coming. Jesus ain't coming. He would have been came. No, he gotta let the big. He gotta let the villain get big as he can, so he can show you his power. You see, if you know how the Most High work, then you will know he coming. The very moment the villain look like the villain won, he took over the world. So I'm gonna holler at y'all. I'm gonna get up out of here. Base Jerusalem. Check the room one more time. Make sure I ain't leaving nobody in Basel. Okay. Shalom, family. I'm gonna holler at y'all.